Hello everybody and welcome to an episode of Cruise Conversations. Today we have a slightly different format to what you guys are used to, and we're going to be focusing on innovation within the cruise interiors, refurbishment and new build market. Today I'm joined by a guy that you guys will all know, a very special advisory board member and also one of our founding partners, and I'll hand over to them now to introduce themselves. Giedrius.
Hi everybody, I'm Giedrius from Lithuania, the founder and CEO of the company AROS Marine. We're doing ship interior, mostly on the new buildings, and also HVAC installations. We started recently also doing some refits. Nice to meet you.
Very good. Thank you, Giedrius. Steve.
And Steve Friars, I'm a consultant with the cruise lines. Most recently, I have been working with AROS, assisting them with their transition from new build into the refurbishment market.
Very good. So welcome to both of you. So as I've just explained, this episode is really, it's going to be a part of a mini series where we are going to highlight some of the innovation that's taken place, certainly over the last 12 months because of the C word, but more importantly, what companies need to do and are already doing to stay ahead of the competition, perhaps work into new markets. So, Giedrius, a question for you first of all. When we say AROS Marine, we would expect to talk about new build market, but you guys have recently made the decision to step out into the refurbishment market. Could you comment on that at all?
Sure. Well, that was our core business for many, many years, coming into shipyards and doing different kind of works. Mostly we did cabins. One of the biggest customers of ours is Chantier d'Atlantique for the time being. And we work on all the ships they're building down there, doing thousands of cabins, new build installations. But we realized, and also this pandemic is showing for us, that this will be over at some point. The new builds will be handed over to the customers, and then they're gonna need more companies to maintain the ships. So that was our philosophy behind this transition, which we started.
Yeah, and of course working with Steve, who's got probably the most experience in the industry for refurbishment. Was that the idea for him to sort of help to steer AROS into this market?
Absolutely. We realized that this pandemic have freed time and minds of super people who are working in these industries like Steven, and we decided to try and get hold of them and guide us through this transition. You know, what we have to do differently in order from the new building in order to transit to the refurbishment.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Steve, when we talk about outfitting companies, because you know you've been on the other side of that as well, representing the large cruise brands, what are some of the qualities that you like to see in an outfitting company? What are the sort of key things that you're looking for when working or partnering with someone like AROS?
I think you used the word there, partner.
Yeah.
It's very important, given the complexity of the projects that are undertaken nowadays on board vessels, and the complexity of the technical side of it. It's very important you have a partner. Going in there and having somebody who just wants to go and turn up and be there on their own, it doesn't work anymore. You have to work hand in hand with each other. So I think one of the important things is definitely having a good partner relationship with the outfitting group. And that has to be a very open relationship. There needs to be a lot of back and forward. There should be nothing should be hidden. Both parties should be very open with each other, and that helps it run smoother. It also makes it easier for everyone because you're not suddenly finding issues. Issues should already be resolved by the time you get to the actual dry dock or back or on board to do the work. So I think that's one of the things. Obviously, there's quality and value are important issues, but the big riding one for me is definitely having a partner.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is AROS's decision back in 2016 to move into the HVAC business. And for those at home that are watching and thinking, what's HVAC? Giedrius, can you just explain exactly when we refer to the words HVAC, what that is?
Well, HVAC is heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and it wasn't like a strategic, some kind of decision, to add this to AROS. It happens just on a daily basis. We got our customers while working in the shipyards asking, could we do the HVAC? Could we install the pipes, behind the visual turnkey? If you know the way Meyer Turku is working, for instance, they are trying to give to the interior contractor turnkey. They call it steel to steel. You take bulkhead to bulkhead and you do everything what's inside. So basically we had no choice.
So we're hearing now more than ever, because of COVID, that there's a lot of this HVAC reconfiguration that needs to be done in order to, in layman's terms, pump fresh air into the ship is what we hear. Would you say that decision in 2016 to do more of this has helped AROS? Are you able to offer a service that's now in demand?
I mean, we are not doing any innovations, to be clear, when it comes to the new filters or airs, but we can do installations. We can do the changing of the system, since we have, again, both interior people and HVAC specialists.
Yeah.
So we could do the system maintenance and let's say reconditioning of the system.
Yeah. And when we talk about sort of product offerings in terms of innovation, then we are hearing a lot, this phrase a lot now, since the beginning of the pandemic, is mobile teams. Everyone keeps talking about mobile teams. Steve, what's a mobile team for everyone at home?
Mobile team is basically like a riding team. Okay. So it is you have works that need to be done on board a vessel. The vessel isn't going to dry dock; it's in service. So what you have is you understand the work scope, and then you put together the relevant people and team that needs to undertake that work on board the vessel. So you may have several joiners, you may have carpet layer, tilers, whatever disciplines you happen to require. You put that team together. They're able to fly anywhere in the world, bring whatever materials with them if needs be, or the materials are shipped ahead of time, which is generally the case. The materials are shipped ahead, brought on board, the team arrives, they go to work, they get it done, they come off, they fly home. So it's a great concept. It's been around for a number of years, and I think given the pandemic, it's certainly something which I know many cruise lines have been looking at, and several have been using in order to keep up some maintenance work on board the vessels during this current period.
And I suppose that there's a double whammy of savings, isn't there? One, you don't need a shipyard to carry out the work, but also you can keep the ship in service because you've got passengers. Exactly. Brilliant. And Giedrius, so talk about teams then, mobile teams. When did you make the decision to offer this service to the cruise lines?
Well, again, this happened, not like new strategic initiative, but it came from our all-time customers, shipyards, when they have to do after sales maintenance and the ship is already sailing somewhere, but there come some warranty issues to the shipyards. Of course, shipyards don't have their own carpenters, so they asked us to do that kind of job. And we realized while working on the ship that this could be a good service for the cruise lines.
Yeah.
So we started forming some, we call them flying squads.
Yeah.
Whenever the customer asks us to do one toilet broke, or we need to change 20 wet units, do a full refit, we fly people there. They board the ship, like Steven said, and they travel together with the ship.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter where in the world the work needs to be done. You guys can get out to Miami, you can get out to Europe, you can get out to anywhere in the world because your teams ready to go at all times, right?
Exactly, 24-hour notice.
24-hour notice. Wow. Get your passport ready.
Well, we're speaking about people. Material is another story. Depends what scope that is. But talking about people, 24-hour notice, groups up to 10 people, it's not a problem.
Fantastic. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is, we talk about refurbishment work, we talk about new build. AROS Marine have made the decision to start to produce their own furniture in-house. When I heard that, I don't know of another outfitting firm that does produce sort of items of furniture for the cruise lines. Steve, is this typical of an outfitting firm?
It's not generally typical, no. There are some others out there that do. However, it's another, shall we say, string to the bow that you can offer to the cruise lines, that in a space that you're working in, that you can custom manufacture particular pieces of furniture, which architects are always looking for, different things and different items, and to be able to design things that can be built and done to the design rather than just buying out of a catalog. So
Absolutely.
It is a good thing that they have this ability and can offer that to designers who work with the cruise lines in order to, provide furniture where they may feel that it would be good to be able to buy or have it manufactured rather than just buying a standard item.
Yeah, absolutely. And Giedrius, talk to us about this then, because I think it's amazing that you can offer this service, and obviously you've got the bandwidth to do it. What types of furniture are we talking about? Are we talking about table and chairs? Are we talking about what sort of items are you able to manufacture?
Well, to say it in few words, we offer fixed furniture manufacturing. Could be bars, could be cabin furniture like beds, wardrobes, shelves. We don't manufacture loose furniture. Chairs, there are plenty of manufacturers, so normally we buy it after customer's selection, or it is supplied by the customer. Yeah. So basically all the fixed furniture, including the hardcore furniture and the soft furniture, but if it is still fixed.
Yeah, wow. So there's a lot of stuff that AROS can offer then. So we've talked about mobile teams, we've talked about getting into the refurbishment market and producing your own furniture. I mean, what's next for AROS Marine then, Giedrius?
Well, hopefully with the support of the consultancy we had and these trainings we had, we want to get into the business of bigger scale refurbishments. We have refurbishment projects from time to time, up to 1, 2, 3 million euro, but we want to really get into this big scale jobs. So this is our first #1 target for the upcoming 5 years.
Yeah. So you better get your swimming shorts and get over to Miami then, right?
We are coming. We have the stand reserved.
Oh, of course. But regardless of the show, I mean, if you're targeting the large cruise lines, I mean, Steve, would you say that Miami is the place for that, or would you say that you can still find those large scale refurbishment projects in Europe?
Definitely Miami is the place for that, because that is the headquarters of the major cruise lines. There are still some of those projects that, although they originate here in Florida, in Miami, they are generally done in Europe.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
The advantage they have is having a European base and the ability to get teams to the shipyards in Europe and the materials, etc., that is required. There's no visa issues, etc., because part of the European Union, which certainly helps. But yes, I wouldn't say they, and as I've told Giedrius and his team this, I don't think they necessarily have to have a presence here in the US with an office, but they do need to be coming regularly and getting in front of the cruise lines, showing them who they are, what they can do, the services that they can provide on a regular basis. And You know, as I have told them, it'll be slow to begin with, but it will happen for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you took my question away from me, but I'll let you have it. Is do you think it's important for an outfitting firm, or any firm for that matter, that wants to supply to the big cruise lines in Miami, to have a presence? And when I say presence, I mean a physical office space, showroom, boots on the ground in Miami or in Florida, for example? Or do you think that the technology-driven age that we live in now means that you could do it from anywhere in the world?
Yeah, I've always been of the opinion I don't think you need to have a physical office. I don't think it really serves much purpose, to be honest, because it's not something that you're going to have clients coming to. Cruise lines don't go to those offices. You go to the cruise lines.
Yeah, unless you run a big trade show, then they come to you.
Unless you run a large trade show and then you come. Yes.
Had to get a plug in there, I'm sorry.
So having a showroom and things like that, I don't think is necessarily needed. I do believe that it's good to have somebody who regularly can come to the US, or you could have a person here. But again, is it worth it to have a person based in the US that is going to be permanently here, because they're not going to be engaged all the time, you know? So it's, I think you can, and I think the pandemic has shown, with the technology that we have, it is very easy to do work and collaborate across continents and vast zones and still be successful.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3,500 square feet of office space here, which I know is small on the scale of cruise lines, but for a small business of 20 people, there's 2 people here at the moment, and there's been 2 people here for the last year. So it's crazy to think that you can do anything remotely now.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Sorry,
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Stephen. You know, the last half a year showed we closed so many contracts, including the new buildings, without traveling a mile.
Yeah, exactly that. So Giedrius, we've got a lot of listeners here then that are going to be watching this and wanting to know, especially if they're based in Miami and they're seeing a familiar face with Steve on the screen. Tell us, you know, if you've got a message to them, what is it that you want to let them know that AROS is now able to offer? And what are the new offerings that you haven't offered before?
Well, again, good question, Toby. We basing ourselves and positioning that we've been on board of many of the newly built ships. So we know them. They are new now, but after 5 years, they will start to go into maintenance, regular maintenance. Maybe some will go into the refits. And the ships are much bigger. So that means the dry docks will have to be done quicker.
Yeah.
And then the jobs will be of much bigger scale. So we jumped as AROS team on the platform where we started educating ourselves, because we understand the new building process as such is totally different from the dry dock. Time-wise, preparation-wise, logistic-wise, etc., etc. So we don't want to bring our teams and start, you know, teaching them on the real project. Rather, we chose to take this time and do the simulation project and educating ourselves. So we're better when the time is right. So the message is quite clear. We believe cruise lines will need more of the subcontractors to maintain their ships, looking at the growth and the size of the fleet, which will have to be maintained. So we will be ready to help them.
Very good. And this wouldn't be a Cruise Conversations episode if I didn't ask Steve to get his crystal ball out and tell us exactly what's going on with this bloody refurbishment market. So here is a question for you, Steve. Get the crystal ball out. Today, obviously you guys at home are probably seeing this a couple of days after filming, but today was the UK's approval of the vaccine. So everyone is very happy today in the UK. We're starting to see the end of this awful disease. What's next for the refurbishment market on a global scale, Steve?
Okay, well, I think first of all, having a vaccine is a tremendous step forward for the industry, to give people confidence to be able to go back to cruising. So that's a fantastic thing that we have that happening. We have to also understand that the market is going to take a number of years probably before it gets back to what we saw last year, a few years before that. Project, the number of projects, the size of the projects, the value of those. The cruise lines have lost an awful lot of money and are continuing to lose an awful lot of money on a weekly basis. I mean, the numbers are staggering with it. Just the outlay that they have per month. You know, Carnival, I think, is 500 million a month. I mean,
I don't even know what to say to that. That is, yeah.
So, obviously, I think they're going to be very cautious about what they spend their money on. They're not going to throw money around like they did in the past. They're going to be very judicious on what they will spend money on. I think projects the size that we've seen in the past probably will not be until about 2024, 25 would be my guess. That, however, there will be smaller projects done between now and then. Obviously, the repair and maintenance still needs to go on. So those are the sort of things that the teams can be involved with there, going to the ships while they're in service, getting work done. The other thing is that there will be a period probably starting next year where a lot of these ships that have been sitting idle, coming back into service, their class certificates are going to be up, which means they're going to need to go to dry dock. The companies will take that opportunity to do some works, but very small. Again, that's a great opportunity for the likes of AROS coming into the market new, to get some small projects and to show what they can do, show the quality level that they have, their pricing value, how professional they are. And I'm sure, having worked with them over the past several months, I think they will be very successful once they get into this business. I've been super impressed with their personnel, their attitude towards all of this, their professionalism with the systems, etc. that they have. They really are a fantastic company.
Very good. Yeah, very well put. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for your time. I just want to finish off to our audience just by saying that this is part of a mini series where we want to highlight some of the innovation, the adaptability, how agile can your company be, not just during COVID, but over the past few years. So if you're watching this and you would like your company to be featured on this, please get in touch with us. Our details are below. You know how to find me on LinkedIn, and we would love to have you on the series. But I think that is everything for today. Thanks again. Speak to you soon.
Thank you, everyone.